Well. We up there? Can y'all hear me if anyone's out there? Let's see. How's that? Mike's going down here for a second. Can y'all hear me out there? I gotta rotate this. I got my laptop up here next to me, see if I can see it better. So I guess I gotta rotate it like this. That doesn't make any sense. Like that. Like that. All right, there you go. You gonna hear it, big man? Southwest Iron, my chili making recipe. Can you hear that okay? Well, all right, so I got to change this around. Hold on just a second, my friends. We'll get this going. I thought you had to hold it up and down. All right, or sideways. There you go. All right, let's see if we got that. All right, sweet. Let's see if we got that. All right, sweet. All right, time check. 10:57. So I can. Forget that. Can you hear it now? I don't even have the mic audio on anymore. Can you hear that? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's probably not going to be as good because I got a jury rig. I got to get a new lapel thing because my lapel thing broke. So as long as you can hear it, I'll bring this up a little bit. So I'm sitting on my back porch, man. It's a beautiful day here in Georgia. I'm telling you, man, it is freaking fantastic. Got my black cow, the mature manure shirt on. So if you're looking for organic gardening, black cow manure, you can get it at Lowe's. You get it, I don't know, I think you get it at Walmart. I imagine you get it at Home Depot. Followed the Dirt Doctor from Texas. I think he's out of Dallas, Fort Worth, the Dirt Doctor. And if you listen to his podcast, they advertise a black cow mature manure all the time. It's crazy. All right, sweet. So I got a shirt and I have my little raised beds over here. I don't know if you can see those. Let's see. Let's see if you can see those raised beds, and then put my manure in there on top of my landscaping as well. All right, so let's see what time check. We got 1 minute till 1 minute, so we'll wait just a second here before we get started. But man, it's freaking awesome out here. I hope wherever you are, it's awesome as well, because fall is the best, that's for sure. And I'm keeping a little track down here too, so if y'all have any questions or comments, or you can't see it, but I got my little laptop right there, and so I'll keep notes on it. I'm trying something different this time, because on my cell phone, I don't really see the comments very well, but on the laptop, I can see them better. All right, so we'll just wait until the clock strikes 11, then we'll get started. Appreciate y'all being on the line here. This is fantastic. Wife's out for her part-time job, so it's just me in the house. Kids are off at school. Man, a lot going on today for sure. I want to share with you. All right, looks like we're counting down here just a second, my friends. I like to be on time for things. You know what they say in the military, if you're on time, you're late, and if you're early, you're on time. And so we'll get cracking here. All right, it's 11 o'clock. So thanks for coming on board, my friends. I hope the audio is okay. I don't have my mic. I'll go ahead and get a new lapel one here shortly, because I'm outside, and so y'all can probably hear the wonders of the landscaping people with their freaking blowers. Hey, what's on, Donald? Man, I tell you, if you're ever looking for a neighborhood, don't live in one where they got landscapers all over the place. You'll never get out from underneath the noise of just those leaf blowers. It's insane. Leaves are a wonderful mulch. They're wonderful. Just grind them up, put them in your garden. Oh my goodness. So I don't know if you all followed this or not, but in Brazil, they just had an election and they call it the tropical Trump. And this isn't a political rant in favor of Trump or Obama, nothing like that. But on the same time we had the tropical Trump win, we also had in Germany, Merkel was going to step down. She got hammered again. Now, the point about this, I'm telling you right now, the era of the big government, big labor, big business, it's coming to an end, and you can see it a mile away. I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means, but you can see it a mile away. The populist, in terms of a Main Street populism of the Trump and the guy from Brazil, I forgot his name off the top of my head, they're taking over. And it might be a left-wing kind of takeover as well. Some of these places in Germany, I mean, the Greens are making ground as well. But the days of the EU, the Merkels, the Bush-Obama years, they're coming to an end. And I'm telling you, it's wonderful because for freedom-loving people, regardless of what you are, trying to build your own personal liberty, not to have so much statism and just kind of reinvigorating yourself to get the hell out of your corporate job. I can do this right now because I'm not in my corporate job. Now, I was able to slave away for 10 years and build up a little bit of money where I can pay myself to do this. But man, I wake up every morning fired up, ready to rock and roll. I do not wake up every morning dreading a commute, what another podcast to listen to, and getting to work with some clown who's telling me what to do. And some of my bosses are fantastic, I'll tell you. I mean, I don't mean that in a too disparaging, and across the board of some of my bosses. A guy named Dante, DJ, he was a wonderful boss. Heath Jackson was a wonderful boss from USAA. I've had a few. I've had a lot that weren't, though. And just a lot, you're just sitting there, you want to drop an anvil on your head because you know they don't know what the hell they're doing. But that's the thing with corporate America. And what I think is happening now, and if Germany is a point of context of this, never mind Brazil. And don't forget, the guy in Brazil was stabbed in the liver and he almost died. And so the fact that he came, and that probably generated some sympathy vote, but he was still way up in the polls, and actually the polls kind of narrowed when he got stabbed, so it didn't really get a sympathy vote. And who knows what this means? But you see what's going on with Venezuela, the Chavistas and all those, they can't keep track. It's a status. It's not just a left-wing status. It's a statism across the board. People like me who are generally to the right, we see the Bush era and we see the Obama era. We said, I don't want big government conservatism, and I don't want big government liberalism. I just want to be left the hell alone. And I'm telling you, what's happening is, I'm not a hugest fan of Elon Musk, and I don't think it's going to be all that set up to be in terms of what, these solar plants in your neighborhood and whatnot. I don't know about that. But, I mean, just the local nature of business being conducted again, it's going to be awesome. And as much as Jeff Bezos and the Washington Post drive me crazy, the facts are they're allowing to some degree, and I think it hurts other people too, and I get that. There's some controversy here. But to some degree, they're allowing people to build businesses that you can do from home. And that it's historic. And then you get on top of this, these people in Germany, these people in Brazil, and the U.S. I mean, now Mexico just elected a radical on the left. But he's an anti-statist radical. I mean, he's not the typical socialist, what do they call it, social democrat that the Democrats are fond of now. This guy is trying to make different from the way it has been. And the way it's been is the Main Street is getting hammered and the Wall Street is getting all the wins. And that's the problem that we have after the post-World War II. Wall Street is kind of taking over and Main Street is getting hammered. I'm just telling you, you can see it. In Mexico, we got a left-wing guy who's not beholden to the power brokers in Wall Street, I'm telling you, the Goldman Sachs of the world, all these guys, the old Lehman Brothers, who control a lot of the money. And this isn't some rant against big corporations. I got no problem with that. But it's exciting. It's exciting to see the witness, all the people out there saying, screw that line of thinking. And everyone bags on the millennials. And I don't think you should. I think a lot of millennials are starting the independent mind, this FIRE thing, which is, a new term to me, but the financial independent retire early. Man, it's awesome. It's awesome to have people saying, I'm not going to follow that model of going into debt as far as my eye can see, some stupid student loan, some house so I can put my kids in school so they can go into debt as far as the eye can see so they can do the same. Those days, I'm telling you, it's coming to an end. So what are you doing to build your own personal freedom, your own personal liberty? And that's what I want to talk about that today, because my man Bruce out of Florida sent me the new trustees report on Social Security. And I've been reading this pretty heavily. And I just want to share with you something here now. And so, you can't really see this, but I'll do a video on this where I show you it. But in 2035, the payroll tax for your Medicare, not even Social Security, just your Medicare, is going to account for 1.41% of GDP, the way Medicare is set up right now. And so with Medicare, you got Medicare A, that's HI, hospital insurance, that's your hospital bill, which is free. You got Medicare B, which is your doctor's services, Part B, which is not free. It's $134. Yeah, my man CB, CB says, have you worked with many millennials? Hey man, there's all kinds of different people. Some are, ass clowns, pardon my French, but some are, I'm telling you, they're seeing a different way of thinking. And I love it. I get fired up about this, CB, because I think there are some millennials who are saying, I don't want to go that route like I've been told to, just follow the minds of corporate or government America and just sit there. I don't think that's going to be the case, and especially the people coming up behind them. I don't even know what they're called after millennials, but I get excited with some of these guys. They're like, why the hell should I stay in my corporate job until I'm 65 years old, literally killing myself when I can do something for myself right now as long as I get in control of debt, which is what I love about Dave Ramsey. Anyway, so let me go back. So in 2035, the payroll tax on just your Medicare, just to pay for Medicare, the payroll tax is going to account for 1.41% of GDP. The tax on your Medicare benefits in 2035, the tax on your Medicare benefits is going to account for 0.25% of all GDP. That's right. Healthcare seems to be in the room. I'm going to talk about that. Just had Radnall. He said healthcare seems to be the elephant in the room. 100% agree with that. And I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. And then your premiums are going to account for basically 1% of all GDP. I'm telling you right now, this cannot keep up. This cannot keep up. And what's going to happen is they're going to start taxing you more and more and more because Medicare is, and I don't have the chart here. Oh, no, I don't. But what my man Bruce sent me, you'll see this cliff for Social Security falling off a cliff in 2034 in terms of the revenue that they have, the holdings that they have. But Medicare goes out in 2028. And so what's happening, I'm just telling you right now, if you just think, I'm going to keep on my 60, 70,000 a year job, grinding away, because things are going to be taken care of for me, you can, if you just read the Social Security Trustees report, it's not going to happen. And how's that fit in with a guy in Brazil? How's that fit in with Angela Merkel stepping down? How's that fit in with Trump or even Bernie Sanders? How's that fit with these guys? Well, things are changing, and that means you have to take more responsibility for your own personal situation. And I don't know what that is necessarily. I agree, healthcare is a big topic for sure. But man, you can't just rely on these guys because Medicare, I'm just telling you right now, that's just Medicare. Taxes on Medicare benefits are going to account for 1/4% of the entire GDP. And I think the American GDP is what, 8, 9, 10 trillion dollars or something like that. We're talking a serious amount of money, just taxes on your benefits, my friends. Which means you got to start planning now. And the first two things to do is get your freaking debt paid off. Somehow, somewhere, get it paid off. I was just watching a couple of videos when I was taking I have to take my kids because I work from home now, so I'm always on the road taking my kids to school, about the pay off your mortgage in 5 to 7 year thing. Some of these guys are clowns, but there was one guy, Quack or Quan or something like that. I want to dive into that a little bit more. I actually like kind of some of the things he was talking about. I forgot his name. Quack, K-W-A-K. A good guy. I liked him quite a bit, actually, but I'm still not there yet. But there are strategies out there, and I'm not there. Payroll tax, yeah. So CB, don't you think they're just going to raise payroll taxes and retirement ages to Social Security? Absolutely. They're going to have to do something, which is why if you pay off your debt and you don't have that much income need, you can live off less, which means you're going to be taxed less, and you're not going to be any worse for the wear, if that makes sense. And that's why I was kind of going back to this guy Quack or whatever his name is. Not like a quack, like who's that doctor from Simpsons, Dr. Riviera or whatever his name is. Not Quack like that, but this guy's name K-W-A-K, and he designed this thing where you can actually pay off your. And I haven't run the whole thing yet. I don't know. I'm gonna dive into that. This seemed kind of too good to be true, but there seems to be some validity to that in terms of what an amortization table looks like relative to a average daily balance on your credit card or your debt. I don't know yet, so don't go there. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, if you have less income, you have less taxes to pay. If you have less of a need for income, you have less taxes to pay. Are you any worse for the wear in your overall living? I don't think so, man. I mean, I have this house right here. If I didn't have this mortgage, I'd be a hell of a lot happier. I'm not lying to you. I think back all the time when we lived in Dayton, Virginia, an old Mennonite town right outside of Harrisonburg. we had a 1,200 square foot, 3-bed, 1-bath ranch. Now, oops, let me just pause that real quick. That's my one of my family members texted me. And you know, were we any better off or any worse off? No, we just were. Now we weren't making as much money, but that meant we didn't have as much taxes. And I'm telling you, when you see this stuff and you see the taxes on Medicare coming down the pike, your Medicare benefits, you see the taxes on your Social Security benefits, it's only going to get worse. So if you can start doing stuff now to get out from under this burden of relying on the big government, big labor, and big business to rely on yourself, it's got to be done. I wish someone had told me this 35 years ago, 15 years ago, say, Josh, don't fall in the trap. In fact, I just listened to NPR, and I don't listen to NPR generally speaking, but they got a pretty good podcast, money podcast or something like that. Oh, what the hell is it called? Money, I forgot. So they just did 2 things today on a pod, or not today, but 2 over the weekend I listened to on the NPR podcast. So they did 2 things. One was on putting your kids in the best school and paying up for that. And I actually wrote about that in my first book, Strategic Money Planning. It's not all it's cracked up to be, because the reason the kids are in the best schools isn't because the school's so good, it's because the people who are putting their kids in there are just have more education, affluence to pay for, you know, schools and stuff like that, for tutoring and whatnot. But also they talked about what were they talking about? So they're talking about not putting your kids so much in the best schools, but having your kid, if you want him to be in the best schools, having your kid have a better understanding and grasp of education ability, education attainment and whatnot. And that way your kid can be a good student, even still, if he wants to go to the best schools, he can without you paying up for it. And so we bought this house right here, which I love it, man. But we bought this house right here for a pretty penny for sure. And we had the income to afford it back then. And, you know, we're doing okay and we're getting by. But the facts are, we bought it for the schools. And are the schools any better than where we used to be in Virginia? No. I mean, I love it here, don't get me wrong. But, you know, we paid, what, $90,000, $100,000 for that house back then? And so if you only have a $100,000 house and you're very comfortable, you don't need a mansion or anything like that, or a $600,000 house to retain your comfort. You just don't. And then on top of that, they talked about in China as well, where China's got the thing where they're giving you social gradings or something like that. I don't know if you ever watched that show on Black Mirror on Netflix, but they have this thing where CB says he doesn't like my black cow shirt, and I give him a negative thing on his rating for his social contract number or something like that. I just tell you, it's crazy. That's the big, that stuff is going way by the wayside. I mean, you think it's going to be more and more intrusive. I actually think it's going to go the other way. I think China is going that way in terms of getting intrusive in people's lives, and people don't like that. I hope not, actually. I mean, this may be my own hope, that I'm hoping for people to say, I don't want to live like that. I want to live a little bit more free. All right, so let's talk about, that's just what I'm seeing now. And I see Merkel going down. I see the Bush-Obama years have really opened the way for the Trump and Bernie coming down the pike. I'm not taking a position on left versus right. I do despise socialism in all its sources, and I do despise crony capitalism as well. And so I see there's an opening here. I see the guy in Brazil. I see what's going on in Mexico, and I'm just telling you, there's something, I just feel it. Again, it might be wishful thinking. I just hope that we're getting beyond where we were with the politics of saying everything's going to be top down. It's going to be good. All right, so we got some questions on here. Don't think they're just going to raise payroll to, yeah, they're going to raise payroll to, and then Southwest Iron says live on less and simply, yeah. And so Southwest Iron, he does a YouTube channel which has some good recipes and stuff, and I'm telling you, I learned a lot from him. So I was actually, because we cook a lot here, but I cook a lot, well, you can't really see it, my grill back there. I cook all the time. My grill saves money. In fact, we're going to go up and get a whole bunch of chicken steak. And I used Southwest Irons, a couple of his recipes to cook my own food, to live simply like that, save money, and eat better too, and eat healthier for sure. But think about it, if you're getting up and commuting at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're getting out from work at 5, and it takes an hour and a half, I mean, how much do you really want to go cook? Probably not that much. So you're probably going to stop and eat out, you know, pick up something. I mean, I've been there, hell. Next thing you know, you're 15, 20 pounds overweight. You know, you're looking at diabetes. It's not good. All right, so if healthcare is about 18% of GDP, most of it's from people over 65 years old, the allocation of 1% of GDP seems woefully low. Well, that's just Medicare. All right, so that's just, they're just right there. Just, I mean, that's just Medicare. I don't know what, this is a projection in 2035. That's actually for not the percentage of Medicare relative to the GDP. It's a percentage of where the income's going to come to pay for it. The payroll tax is 1.41. the tax on Medicare benefits is 0.24. And when you're thinking about, let's just say a $10 trillion economy, 0.24% of that is a tax on benefits. That's a hell of a lot of, that's billions of dollars right there coming out of your taxes for sure. And then Joe says, what's your thoughts on using a HELOC to pay out? Yeah, okay. See that, so Joe asked, what's my thought about basically that velocity money thing where you're using a HELOC to pay off your mortgage in 5 to 7 years. I haven't done enough due diligence on that, Joe. I looked at a guy today and I said, I don't think that's going to work. But then there's something there I said, I need to dive into this more because he's taken two completely different debts. One is an amortization and one's an average daily balance debt. And it kind of it made a little bit of sense to me. I got to dive into that, Joe. I'll get back to you on that for sure. I'll do some videos on that. In fact, another one I'm going to do today. When I was in banking a long time ago, we used to try to refinance people's vehicles. And I'll never forget, we had a guy coming in, and this was like in 2001, had a car loan at 25, oh no, I'm sorry, he had like a car loan at 7.75% with Wells Fargo, whatever the bank was. And I was working at a credit union. I said, hell, we can beat that. We're only charging 2.9. And we ran the numbers and we couldn't beat it. And the reason was because he was at the precipice at that point of basically he's looking down, all the interest was already behind him, if that makes sense. And that's the problem with an amortization of a loan. Now he's just paying the principal. So the $400 a month or whatever his payment was going, $370, $380 to the principal as opposed to 20, and only 20 to the interest, as opposed to when he first started it, $380 was going the interest. And I haven't done enough dive on that yet, Joe, but that's something I definitely intend on looking at. Because, some of these, like the infinite banking thing, we're using a life insurance policy. I don't buy that for 2 seconds. And the reason is because you got to get underwritten, you got to put a lot of money in their front end. But if you can kind of reoperate your debt, that has an appeal to me for sure. All right, so CB says, I don't want to live on less. I want to have the income that I have now, but without the house payment. I completely agree. If you can, but that's what I'm saying. Just think about it. This is where people say, I can't live off $5,000 a month. I'm like, I bet you could. If you don't have a house payment, I absolutely bet you could. I bet you could get that done if you have, $5,000 a month just to pay, for your black cow T-shirt and some steaks, fillets you want to throw on the grill and stuff. I bet if you didn't have a mortgage, you could live on $5,000. Well, not UCB specifically, but the issue is if you have debt, car loans, leases, student loans, your mortgage, and all that, you can't live off just your discretionary. You got to live off your discretionary plus this other stuff. You can't, and that's you have to create the income in order to pay that. And by creating the income to pay it, you're paying more tax. That's ultimately where I'm going here, and I just think people are getting tired of that. I hope, again, this might be wishful thinking. I'm a pretty hopeful guy. I'm an optimist, but I just think, I feel it, man. I just hope so. And again, this isn't right versus left. I just think there could be some people that are saying, I'm not going to play the game anymore. We'll see. We'll see. All right, so that's what I want to talk about. Last thing, healthcare. All right, so I've been doing a lot of research on this. It's called direct primary care, DPC. I'm going to have a couple docs I'm going to interview for my podcast, and I'll put up on the YouTube thing as well, who are direct primary care physicians. And what that simply means is you got your primary care provider, PCP, and mine's Dr. Carpenetti here in Alpharetta, who's great. And so you got your, you go to get your blood work done, you go get your, your health check, whether your physical and whatnot, and then they'll refer you to a specialist. So basically, the most you're going to see mostly for your health insurance is going to be through your primary care physician, and then you go to a specialist. What a DPC says, we're not billing insurance. You're going to pay us a monthly fee, $100 a month. And then you have basically unlimited, I hate to say unlimited, but unlimited access to your primary care physician. It's not going to be 8 minutes. We're going to shuffle you in like cattle in a herd. We're not going to do that. We're going to take the time to get to know you. We're going to take the time to look at you. We're going to give you your EKGs. We're going to give you, I think they even said CAT scans, and I don't know what your state is or anything like that. But this is very important to me because I think if you can do like my wife and I were talking about last night, where we got DPC, direct primary care, and you're paying $100 a month, and I literally don't know what it is, but let's just say $100 a month, and you have access on the weekends, online, on calling to a physician that you like and are fond of, and you can go in there and more than just getting shuffled every 8 minutes or so. I think it has a lot of appeal there, and nothing's built through insurance. So because of that, they don't have to staff hundreds of people in the office just to pay for the insurance premium or do the insurance paperwork. So that's direct primary care. Now the question I don't know the answer is, what happens when you have to go to a specialist? I don't know, cardiologist, an anesthesiologist, I don't know how that works. So I'm going to ask some of these docs I'm going to do interviews with because I think that's pretty interesting. So you think about, for us, we have Medicare, all right? So Medicare is a religious, in this case, a Christian affiliation, religious thing. I imagine there's some for Jewish. I imagine there's some for Muslims. I imagine there's some for Hindus. Again, pardon me if I'm not saying it right for my Indian brothers out there. I just don't know. Buddhist, I'm not sure what the specific religion is on that. But for the folks that believe in the God of Abraham, which is Muslims, Jews, and Christians, I imagine there's something for each of every one of those affinity groups. Religious groups, however you want to say it. And so what it is, so what it is that you have this affinity group of religious people. You say, okay, we're going to meta-share. We're going to help this. We're going to help you pay for your medical issues if you need medical help. And so I contribute $500 a month. This guy over here contributes $500 a month. That guy down there, and I say guy, lady, she contributes $500 a month, whatever it is. And as long as you maintain a certain lifestyle, don't smoke, don't party too hard. I guess don't smoke. You can't really have pre-existing conditions. That's the big one right there. So I don't know the answer for that yet. But essentially the way I kind of envision it, you have direct primary care for your physician, primary care physician to see on a regular basis. And then you're paying $500 a month for catastrophic. And I'm not there yet. I don't have enough knowledge on this, how this all the concoction there or whatever, concoction, to see it through yet. But that's my envision for what I'm thinking about doing for my family, because we don't have insurance. We got Medi-Share, which we're sharing the cost with other insured, if that makes sense. It's the old way of doing things. That's how the Chinese built these businesses. That's how the Jewish people built these businesses. That's how the Muslims are doing it right now. They're helping each other out by donating to this pool of funds and loaning it out to other people in their affinity group that can use that money for other things. It's a wonderful thing. It's, again, going back to the whole community thing. And I'm a big fan of that, and I think that's what Medi-Share, I don't think, that is what Medi-Share does. Now, again, how does that work when you have a heart attack, you got to go to the ER? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but there is solutions, I think. And you got direct primary care, you got your primary care physician provided for, all that stuff taken care of with a small monthly fee. Because it's not going through insurance, it's so much more affordable. And then you say, okay, well, I need to refer you out to a specialist because your heart's about to fall off a cliff. And you say, well, I got to go to that specialist. How does it cost? I don't know. And I'll get back to you on that because that's a big deal. I'm hearing people all over the time on YouTube, email, on my podcast as well, saying, how about health insurance? And I'm right there. I got off Cobra last month or 2 months ago. We got Medi-Share. And if we go to the urgent care, because strep throat seems to run rampant through our family, we just pay out of pocket. And so we try not to go to urgent care as much. But at the end of the day, if you got to pay out of pocket. Nothing inherently wrong with that. But that's the issue I'm working on. And so when I find out more information, I'll let you know for sure. And my second part is, too, with debt. So for me, I got healthcare is a big concern, and I got debt. How can I maximize my money got coming in to cover both these things so I can live this life that I love, which is doing this stuff? I love it, man. I love coming out here in this shirt and being outside. It's so gorgeous out here today. I love it. And I can't go back to corporate America. I just can't. And there might be something for you there too, my friend. So, all right. Well, I guess high deductible health plans. Yeah. Well, that's right. Southwest. High deductible health plans. That's 100% right. The question is, are they even out there anymore? And I don't know. I know they got high deductible health plans with HSAs. I get that. You can't have an HSA without a high deductible health plan. You can't. You got to have both. You have to have a high deductible health plan funded essentially with an HSA. And everyone talks about the HSAs, but what's the high deductible health plan that an independent person can buy? A self-employed person? I don't know the answer to these things. And that's it's very, very frustrating. And I got no problem with Obamacare. Hell. Oh, dude. Yeah. CB is freaking North Georgia's. I tell you, Virginia, man, I tell you, Maine in the fall, there ain't nothing better. Virginia, 4 seasons, there's nothing better. North Georgia is, and this is North Atlanta. It's not quite North Georgia, but man, Chattanooga area, that whole corridor from North Georgia, Chattanooga, Tennessee, up into about halfway to Nashville, man, you'd kill me. It's freaking awesome. Anyway, so the high deductible health plan, I don't know. So if you all have experience with high deductible health plans, I'd love to hear them because I don't know the answer. And I know Obamacare gets, some bad raps. People on the conservative side, like I say, Obamacare, but it can help. I mean, for pre-existing conditions. I know that for a fact. I just don't know how it works, and that's something I have to dive into a little bit more. Well, that's all I got. So I'm going to do a couple more videos today I'm going to talk about the trustees report on Social Security. I had something else I wanted to do. I forgot off the top of my head. I had another video I want to get done today. I got a whole list of videos I want to do. So if you have videos you like, oh, let me ask you a question. That's why I got you guys here. And if you don't want to answer, email me or on here. But I do get on occasion, people say, hey, can you do a video on my current plan? Obviously, I can't do plans for everybody, but someone actually made a point. He goes, it's interesting to see a plan done on a specific, individual or a couple or something like that. I thought that was pretty interesting. I never thought about like that, saying, well, there, let's see, Josh and Charlotte, I'm 48, my wife's 44, we got 4 kids, we got some debt. Can we do X, Y, Z? What's the story behind that in terms of getting a good financial plan done? So if that's something you'd like to, I mean, just, again, I can't get 8,000 people throwing me emails, say, hey, do it on me, do it on me, but I thought it'd be kind of interesting. I obviously wouldn't use names or anything like that, but just say, here's a real world situation, kind of like my man, the postal guy, I forgot his name, the postal guy is doing originally. So if you like something like that, let me know, because I love using software. Software is pretty cool. Yeah, John says yeah, or Joe says yes, yeah, absolutely. So don't, if you email me and you don't hear back necessarily, don't get mad. I'll do the best I can to get some plans out there for sure. It won't be many. I'm just telling you right now, probably 10, 5, 10 or something like that. But I think it helps to get I'm trying to grow the YouTube channel. And I think when you have more and more people involved in it, it can grow it. But I also think when you're showing real world stuff, it can help people as well. So it won't be specific. I can't answer your question on, hey, what if I do? I won't be like that because I gotta get paid. So if you want that kind of specificity, you gotta, have to contact me for a consultation. But if you want something like that and you have some ideas, I'd love to hear them for sure. Just send them out there and I'll get to them when I can for sure. And I think it'd be pretty interesting. So just with that said, I can't do it for everybody. I certainly can't give you one-on-one specifics on that just because I don't have the time. And at the end of the day, I still got to pay for this freaking house. With that said, I like my house. I mean, I don't want you thinking like, oh, I wish I didn't move here. Not like that at all. I love it here. I just wish I didn't have a debt. And that's what I'm working on now, to pay this sucker off. Because when I hit 65, I can't have a mortgage. In fact, if I can pay this sucker off within 5 to 7 years, like that quack guy says, I mean, I'll send him some bouquet of flowers. I highly suspect I won't be able to, but if I can, I'll be sending him a bouquet of flowers or maybe a T-shirt, Black Cow. All right, so we'll see you guys next time. We've got some more videos coming down the pike, and if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, just put in the comments there. I appreciate it. Thanks now. Gotta go to that guy. We gotta go here.